The Hindenburg disaster remains one of the most iconic and tragic events in aviation history. It took place on May 6, 1937, and marked the end of the era of passenger-carrying rigid airships. The Hindenburg, officially known as LZ-129 Hindenburg, was a German commercial passenger-carrying airship, the pride of the German Zeppelin fleet, and one of the largest flying objects ever built. Background and design. The Hindenburg was constructed by the Zeppelin company under the direction of Dr. Hugo Eckener. It was designed to be a luxurious airborne liner, capable of transatlantic flights. At 804 feet long and 135 feet in diameter, it was almost as long as the Titanic. The airship had a steel aluminum frame, and its lift was provided by hydrogen gas, which was more flammable than helium, but was more readily available in Germany at the time. The Hindenburg featured a richly decorated interior with amenities such as a dining room, a lounge with a grand piano, a writing room, and even a smoking room, specially pressurized to prevent hydrogen from entering. It was designed to carry up to 72 passengers and 61 crew members. The final flight. On May 3, 1937, the Hindenburg departed from Frankfurt, Germany, on its first North American transatlantic flight of the season, bound for the Naval Air Station in Lakehurst, New Jersey. Despite encountering headwinds that delayed its journey, the Hindenburg was expected to arrive on the evening of May 6th. On board were 36 passengers and 61 crew members, including Captain Max Pruss and Captain Ernst Lehmann. The journey had been relatively uneventful until its approach to Lakehurst, where the weather conditions were not ideal, with thunderstorms in the area. The disaster. At approximately 7:25 p.m. on May 6th, the Hindenburg began its final approach to the mooring mast at Lakehurst. Due to adverse weather conditions, it had to make several wide turns before positioning itself correctly for landing. The airship was hovering about 200 feet above the ground when suddenly, at 7:25 p.m., the tail of the Hindenburg burst into flames. Eyewitnesses reported seeing flames erupting from the upper part of the rear of the airship. Within seconds, the hydrogen gas that kept the Hindenburg aloft ignited, causing the airship to be engulfed in flames. The once majestic craft was now a horrifying inferno, descending rapidly to the ground. The disaster was broadcast live by radio reporter Herbert Morrison, whose emotional exclamations, "Oh, the humanity," captured the shock and horror of the event. His recording remains one of the most famous broadcasts in history. Aftermath. The Hindenburg disaster resulted in the deaths of 35 of the 97 people on board and one worker on the ground. Miraculously, 62 people survived, some by jumping from the airship while it was still aloft. The cause of the fire has been the subject of much speculation and investigation over the years. Several theories have been proposed, including static electricity discharge, sabotage, and engine failure. The most widely accepted theory today is that a static spark ignited leaking hydrogen gas. The Zeppelin company's use of flammable hydrogen instead of helium, which was scarce and controlled by the United States, was a significant factor in the rapid and catastrophic nature of the fire. Impact and legacy. The Hindenburg disaster marked the end of the airship era. The catastrophe was highly publicized and led to a severe loss of confidence in rigid airships as a mode of passenger transport. Following the disaster, Germany ceased its passenger airship operations, and the age of the Zeppelin came to an abrupt end. The Hindenburg disaster also led to stricter regulations regarding the use of hydrogen in aviation and promoted the use of non-flammable helium in future airship designs. In the years since the disaster, airships have been relegated to niche roles such as advertising and aerial observation, never regaining their former prominence. The site of the disaster at Lakehurst Naval Air Station is now a registered National Historic Landmark. Each year, a ceremony is held to commemorate the victims of the disaster. Conclusion. The Hindenburg disaster remains a poignant reminder of the risks associated with early aviation and the impact of technological and material limitations. The tragedy highlighted the dangers of hydrogen as a lifting gas and marked a significant turning point in aviation history, influencing future airship design and safety protocols. Despite its tragic end, the Hindenburg and its ill-fated flight continue to fascinate historians and aviation enthusiasts, symbolizing both the promise and peril of early air travel.